Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Atlanta Thrashers franchise mode here in NHL 21. So in last episode we had the draft and the re-sign stage, and we did let go of Scavello. That was pretty much all we let go of, and also we are going to be making a trade in this episode to get rid of Henricius, just because we do have some younger guys that like to get into the lineup. Because if we look at our roster currently in terms of roster space, we got all these for centermen, 5 different players. Left wing wise, we currently have Kovalchuk, Camilleri, Kemp. Ivanov is probably going to take over Henricius' spot like full time as a third liner, and then Pispinen should be jumping into the lineup as a fourth liner this season. He's actually a pretty good offensive player, and he was our first round pick back in 2029, so very excited to see this guy in the lineup. And then in terms of our right wingers, we still got Bork, Wolski, and Easton Hillen's going to be probably playing as a depth forward for us this season because he won the AHL in the scoring race last year, so I'm deciding we should probably give this guy a shot after being in the AHL for 5 years, so he's going to be a depth forward for us. And then defensively, we still got the same defensive core, and Gugnot will probably also be up here as like a depth defenseman. And yeah, our goaltending situation hasn't changed in years, so we are also going to be signing a depth center just to give us a little bit of an extra, like basically to replace Gavello, I should say. And yeah, let's make our trade first with Henricius and get rid of him, just because we don't really need him anymore. He's not been a bad player for us, but he has been, like, his point production has dropped off a lot since he's been put on the fourth line, and he'll probably be a better player somewhere else. Like, let's take a look at his career stats with us. He's played 4 years. He had 48 points, then 45, then 31, and then he had 29 points last year on the fourth line, which is pretty good. But we do need to eventually part away with him and make room for younger guys, so we are going to trade him away. I just don't know where to. So yeah, let's trade away Henricius, and maybe we could just get some picks back, because I don't think I'm going to trade for a roster player. So he doesn't really have a lot of value. Maybe we could get a 4th round pick back from him. Probably not. But I should just try this anyways. Let's try a 4th for Henricius. He doesn't have enough value, but we'll still try it anyways. Maybe a 7th round pick will have to be the case. If no teams want Henricius, this is going to be kind of annoying. How about a 7th round pick? They're rejecting that as well. Wow. So this is going to end up being like that Brody situation or Blugis situation, right? Where I can't trade away him for even a 7th round pick. Let's just take a look at other teams and see if other teams are willing to give up their 7th rounder for him. Because it's kind of ridiculous that I can't trade a player for a 7th round pick, especially when this guy's like an 82 overall and he'd be better on some of these other teams. And Buffalo's going to reject as well. What if I had a 7th round pick of my own just to get this done? See if that works. Wow. Yeah, I think we're going to be in the same boat with the Henricius deals. We can't make a trade because teams are not willing to give up picks at all, seems like. Unless I took back like a random AHLer that had around the same amount of value, but I don't know if that's worth it. Let's try the 7th round pick from Carolina. That's rejected. I honestly don't think we're going to be able to trade for any picks. So I guess we could just take back a random AHLer. Let's just go sort by trade value. This guy, maybe. Yeah, this guy might be okay. This guy had 7 goals last year in the AHL and no assists. I don't know if they would trade even him for... Yeah, even him has like a little bit more value. Let's try if that works. That's rejected. For a low top 9, that's 66 overall, 64 overall. So yeah, I think we're going to have to be stuck with Henricius, which means we might end up having to use him as like a depth forward. Or we could just play him in the AHL or send him down on waivers or something and hope that he gets claimed. But man, that really sucks. I don't know why teams don't want to give up a 7th round pick for an 82 overall. I would do that any day of the week if I was the other team. But let's get into those free agent signings, I guess. Well, that one free agent signing that we are going to make. So the guy we're going to be signing is the guy I was mentioning at the end of last episode, and that was Karostin, wasn't it? Yeah, Karostin. This guy might fit all of our lineup. Even though he only has bottom 6 potential, he actually has some pretty decent attributes, so I think this guy could be a perfect depth option for us. So we're going to sign him up. He actually wants 2.4 million, which is a lot, but we'll still give him what he wants because no other teams are interested in him. And I think that's pretty much all we need to pick up in free agency. Yeah, that's pretty much all we need to pick up. I don't think there's anything else we need to do before we simulate. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's advance a few days and see if we can get this guy. We probably will. And then we will simulate to the end of this first month of free agency and see what the AIs are signing. So let's go to the 5th. And we do get Korostin, which is good. Okay, that's perfect. Let's see. We still have how much RFAs holding out? 9 RFAs, I think it was. As I'm recording these episodes back to back, obviously, because I do have to pre-record a bunch of stuff. So let me just take a look at those contracts again. How much RFAs is it? I think it was 9, if I'm not mistaken. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yeah, there's 9 players. Okay. So yeah, by the end of that, we'll be at like 46 contracts. So technically, we could sign more players, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Doesn't make sense really to me to sign more players. So let's sim to the end of the month and see if all those RFAs start accepting. If they don't, then we're going to have to offer them contracts. Like, hopefully these type of guys aren't the ones that hold out. We're getting offered, Derek Morris, who's a good defenseman. Pretty old probably at this stage, though. For a top 6'4" prospect, I don't really want to give up. And then 2 prospects who are both unsigned currently. That's an interesting offer, but I don't really need Derek Morris. I don't really need a defenseman in general. We're getting offered for one of our unsigned guys, actually not an unsigned guy. Yeah, an unsigned guy actually that we just drafted in the last episode, and a 3rd round pick. We're getting offered a 3rd and a 5th. No, thank you. I don't know why teams are inquiring about these prospects right now. So Hanula's going to accept, Cleary's going to accept, which is good for the AHL system. Just waiting on a few others. Van Allen, so that's 3 of the 9. There's a lot of Kainen. There's Tunney and Heward. There's Yelkinen and a coin, so I think that might be it. Let me just check and make sure. Because I think that was 9 if I counted correctly. It's kind of hard to count when they're all just popping up in your face, you know. But RFA-wise, we still have Lapierre to wait for, but he is... I don't know if he was sent a contract. I'll just send him one now. Now he wants a 2-way deal. So I'll send him that, and we will continue to simulate till the end of this month. And then hopefully there is some pretty cool AI signings this year. There's not going to be a lot of created guys for me anymore in this franchise mode, but hopefully we could find some interesting signings if there was. Or maybe even trades if there was any. So we go to, let's see first the pick and trades. So Mark Bell goes back to Chicago. Derek Morris goes to the Rangers, where he played at in real life, I think, for a little bit. So that's kind of neat. Signing wise, we're just going to look for any cool ones. Because right now it's just a bunch of EA generated guys and whatnot. Ville Nieminen goes to the Rangers. I believe he was there at one point. Adam Mayer goes to Colorado. What else do we got here? Just a bunch of EA guys right now. I might miss something though, so if you guys see anything, you could always bring it up in the comments. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to address those comments because I am going to be pre-recording all these, but our former defenseman, Murray Blue, just signs a 1-year deal with the Phoenix Coyotes, so that's interesting. Going to Phoenix. What else we got here? Alexei Semenov going to Calgary. Okay, Tverdovsky going to San Jose. He was just in Ottawa when they beat us and won the Stanley Cup. Matthew Biron also going to San Jose. Damn, San Jose always picks up a lot of free agents, and they're already a really good team based on how they simulated last year. They went to the Cup Finals and lost. Anything else interesting? Vitaly Vishnevsky to Edmonton. Kari Lettinen going to Tampa Bay. Alex Coley going to the Los Angeles Kings, former player of ours for a little bit. What else do we got here? Anything else? Brian Berard going to Europe. Kind of makes sense because he did actually retire youngish because of his injuries. Rick DiPietro goes to Dallas, so he left Ottawa. Went to Dallas. Dinas Zubris goes to Pittsburgh. Interesting. Derek Armstrong to Edmonton. Tony Lidman to New Jersey. Anything else? Roberto Luongo signs a 1-year deal with the St. Louis Blues. Damn, I was hoping he would go to Vancouver or something, but goes to St. Louis. Jason Chimera to Minnesota, Lundmark to Columbus, Ferentz to Washington. Eliash goes to Minnesota on a 2-year deal. Alex Semin goes to Dallas on a 3-year deal. Okay, Kubina goes to Washington. Talinder goes to Tampa Bay. Zednik to Detroit. That's almost it looks like. Sapirigan to Buffalo. Hayduk to New Jersey. It's weird seeing Hayduk in New Jersey after Colorado won against them in 01. Michael Grosha goes to Calgary. And that is almost it. Matt Cook goes back to Vancouver. Don't know where he was before. Maybe he was still in Vancouver. And that is it. So those are all the signings. Not a huge name really signing anywhere, but I'm going to make a jump cut to the start of the next season with our edited lines, and I will see you guys in a second. Okay guys, so our team looks pretty good for the most part. Again, it's pretty similar to last year. Malkin, Bergeron, Kovalchuk, Camilleri, Houghton, and Kemp. Third line is now Ivanov, Kuznetsov, and Bork, and fourth line is Wolski, Frolov, and the youngster in Pasi Pispinen, so it should be an interesting season. And in terms of our defensive core, it's still Kondratyov and Wall, Ferguson and Martinez, and Connolly and Brody. Goaltending wise, we still got Carey Price and Brian Elliott, and depth wise, we got Henricius, Gugnot, and Ilya Korostin, who we signed in free agency, so not too bad of depth as well. And even in the AHL, we got some development from Roy Snyder, who's up to a 78, so he could technically be in the NHL at some point, as well as Ulf Soderstrom, who was a first-round pick of ours. He's actually listed as a third-line checking forward. This guy's a grinder. He's apparently NHL ready. He's a 79 overall already. So soon we're going to have to get Snyder and Soderstrom probably into our NHL lineup. Easton Hillen is back in the AHL again because we just could not fit him into the roster right now. And then defense looks like this. It's not good chemistry, but it doesn't really matter. And then there's the goaltending situation as well in the AHL. Actually, I should put Brad Moore in the lineup since he was just drafted recently. But we are going to move Breen up in the lineup as well, I think. And I will take who out? I'll take out this dude, I think. Yeah, we'll just give Moore an opportunity. Does Moore do face-offs? Not really. Anybody do face-offs down there? Ladikainen does. Okay, boom. So we'll do something like that. So that's basically what our roster looks like in the system as well. But yeah, NHL-wise, we look pretty similar to last year. It's just the main change is Ivanov is now a career third-liner. And then Henricius is out of the lineup, and in comes Pispinen. And yeah, pretty much the rest of the team has stayed the exact same. So I'm hoping that we could have a good season again this year. We probably will have a good season simulation, but playoff-wise, hopefully we don't run into a team like Ottawa that could just pull off an upset or something like that. So that is our roster. Let's start up the season simulation and see what happens. Hopefully this team simulates really good. We should definitely be a championship team in the next few years, I would assume. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we win a Stanley Cup while I'm doing all these pre-recordings. So let's go to the end of the preseason, see how we do there. And then we'll simulate probably up to like January the 1st in this episode, as we usually do. So yeah, we're just so far. Not really a surprise. As deep our team is. And we're 5-2 in the preseason, not too bad. Not the greatest record, but still 11 in 7 games for Bergeron. Hopefully he's set up all year round, including the playoffs, because last year in the playoffs, that first line was very quiet by comparison to the regular season. So I'm hoping for a big year from those boys. What contracts do we actually have up this year? Like, does Bergeron need an extension or what? All expiring. Yeah, Bergeron needs an extension. I'm already going to offer him it because obviously Bergeron deserves to retire with this organization. Yeah, we'll do another 6-year deal. I'm fine with that. And we'll give him like 8.75 if he wants to do that. I'm going to wait on everybody else till the offseason. But Bergeron definitely gets that extension because he's been a crucial piece to this team since he basically got into our lineup. Okay, so let's do our first month of simulating up to November the 1st. See how we do. Hopefully we do pretty good offensively and defensively. Bergeron's already accepted. That is perfect. And are you kidding me? That was like a really unfortunate situation. He signs a contract extension for 6 years. He's all happy, and I guess he got too happy and he injures his hip. I don't know if it's because he's getting older, but he injures his hip and he's out till October the 13th. So he's out for only like 1 week to start the season. But yeah, that's kind of funny. But Karostin is a good fit for our lineup anyways, I think, so he should be okay to go in there. How did he do in the lineup? 1 game played and no points. But Bergeron's already back, so he didn't miss too much. He only missed 1 game. And then we're going to win some games again. And Wall's now been injured with a sore shoulder, so it looks like we're suffering a little bit of an injury bug to start the year. Hopefully that doesn't determine how good we finish this year. So let's just replace him. I'll put in Gugnaut. But we are still winning at games without him. And yeah, we're off to a really good start. Jalen Wall is back. That's good news. How did Gugnaut do in the lineup? 5 penalty minutes in 2 games and no points. Gugnaut's a really physical defenseman, and he doesn't really do much offensively. Like, that's why I've been using him more as a depth option. And now Jalen Wall suffered a sore foot. Man, he's really injury prone. I think he was injured a couple times last year as well, so that's not a good start for Jalen Wall. And Carey Price is now injured his groin. What is this? We are getting bombarded with injuries. Well, at least we do have Jackson Robbins in the system. But he's going to have to go back through waivers, which means he might end up getting claimed. And if that is the case, it's not the end of the world, but it does really suck if that does happen. So Robbins is going to get another shot in the NHL level for a little bit, with Carey Price being out. And Pino is going to get a shot in the AHL to play, with Robbins being in the NHL. So we finished the month 6-3, 0-1, not too bad. We are currently in one of the wildcard spots, and that top line is really off to a good start again. Bergeron with 16 points in 9 games. He's on pace for a very good season this year. Hopefully he keeps that up all year round, like I was mentioning. But yeah, let's continue to simulate. Carey Price should only be back in like a few days. Yeah, he should be back right around here, and same with Wall, because both those guys are out right now. So let's go to December the 1st. And game against Pittsburgh is a 2-2 tie. And Carey Price is back, which means we got to send back down Robbins. How was Robbins when he was up here? Did he play any games yet? He did not, but he was playing really good in the AHL when we called him up. So he's going to go back down on waivers. Hopefully he doesn't get claimed. And he didn't get claimed? Wow. Okay, that's kind of surprising because the AIs are kind of dumb in this. Like, they don't trade their 7th round picks for 82 overalls, and they for some reason don't claim an 80 overall goalie, even when some of them are running 72s in net. Like, I don't understand that at all. So Jackson Robbins back in the AHL, and Carey Price back in the NHL. And Jalen Wall is back as well. That's good news. Getting back to full health, and hopefully we don't suffer too much more injuries. There we go. Biaka, I don't even remember how to pronounce this guy's last name. Biaka. No, thank you. Don't really need him. It's a cool ass last name though. Carey Price is full health. That's great. 8-4-1-1 so far. What else we got here? We win that game. We're actually playing pretty good defensively in some of our games that we've been doing. As I say that, of course, we lost 4-3 after that. But yeah, our team's off to a really good start. Brian Berard's on waivers. I don't really think I need another defenseman. He does fit all our pairings, but I don't think I need another one. So, game against Florida is a loss. There's a 7-2 loss against the Rangers, so never mind. We're on a 4-game losing streak to end that month. We're 12-7, 2-3. I'm kind of glad that we're staying around 500 though, because if we do too well, then we're going to be eliminated easily in the first round or something like that. But our division is once again really, really tight. 29 points is first place, 25 points is 6th place. 21 points actually 7th place, so there's only 8 points separating like first place and way near the bottom, which is crazy. The Devils are definitely out of the playoffs probably at this rate, but yeah, the Eastern Conference is ridiculous. There's only 9 points separating our first place team in the division and the Bruins, who have 20 points and are bottom of their division. So yeah, the Eastern Conference is nuts right now. Like in the West, it's also pretty much really close like that. It looks like. Yeah, the West is also pretty tight. Man, it's hard to get into the playoffs back in the day when there was ties, I guess. And yeah, Bergeron's got 37 points in 23 games, 16 goals already. So our top line is definitely off to a great start. Gonna keep the lines the way they are, even though we are on a losing streak, because I expect our team to kind of bounce back and do really good 1 month. So let's go to January the 1st, and then we'll take an updated look at our player stats and all that stuff. Maybe actually I'll go right to the 41 game mark like I did last year, just because that way we can see how much points players are on pace for the entire year. And a third injury to Jalen Wall, my god. He's just pulled his groin out till December 28th, so Gugnon's getting a lot of an opportunity this year, which is actually pretty good, but still, man, that's a lot of injuries to Jalen Wall. Like, I don't think I've seen a player get injured 3 times in the first, 3 months of the NHL action. Brain sprained his ankle. Let's just go replace player. And Kondratyov is... we're getting, some, really bad injuries this year, but we are still winning games without those players, which is very impressive, I'd say. Okay, so Wall is back in the lineup, so we'll take out Gugnot. Henriques actually didn't make our defensive pairing that much worse. So Henriques is actually a good defenseman. As weird as that sounds. Huh, interesting. Let's get Gugnot, though, in there instead. There you go. Last 2 games of the month, Kondratyov is already back. That's good news. I didn't know how long-term his injury was. It was a concussion, so... But yeah, we're getting a lot of injuries to start the season. Gotta fight through that adversity, though, and win some games. We'll take Wong back out of the lineup and throw back in Mr. Breen. There you go. Game against Dallas. Once Mike Camilleri gets injured now, too. How much injuries are we going to suffer in this episode? Let's go replace player. We won that 1-7-0 against Dallas, but we are 20-12 and are 3-3. And we are first in our division now with 46 points, so we are in a good situation right now. We're only, though, still 8 points above the Hurricanes, who are in the last wildcard spot in our division. So that's a little bit risky, but other than that, we are first in our division, which is good. Let's take a look at... Actually, wait, are we at the halfway point of the season? No, we still got 3 more games, so we'll simulate 3 more games just to see how we are exactly at halfway point of the season, because I like to always do that, just to see how much points players are on pace for. And we're going to win 1, lose 1, and tie 1 game. So we're now 21, 13, 4, and 3. And yeah, our top line is doing really well. That's good. 49 points to lead our division. We are the worst division leader currently in the NHL, which is interesting. Let's take a look at player stats and team stats just to see what we're going wrong with so far. And then that'll be probably pretty much it for this episode. I probably won't be making much trades in these pre-recorded episodes just because I need your guys' opinion on stuff, and obviously I can't get your guys' opinion with pre-recorded episodes. So, but so far, Bergeron halfway through the season, 57 points in 40 games because he missed 1 game due to injury. Really good start from him. Malkin's been really good so far this year as well, 48 points in 41 games. 22 goals from him, 19 goals from Bergeron. And then Houghton, 27 points is pretty good. Frolov, 24 points. Pretty impressed with Frolov. He's starting to be a pretty good bottom 6 player. And then Kuznetsov is off to a really quiet start. 17 points in 41 games. Maybe he got taken off the power play? No, it doesn't look like he did. Yeah, he's off to a really quiet start. He's on pace for 34 points this year as opposed to 53 last year. So Kuznetsov might be one of these guys that I eventually trade away as well or get rid of. I don't know. Kroston in 1 game had no points. Left wing wise, Ilya Kovalchuk's got 53 points in 41 games, only 21 goals halfway through the season, so he's not going to have as much goals as last year, but still a pretty good start to the season from Ilya Kovalchuk, obviously point wise. I don't think he's going to reach 50 ever in his career, but you never know, he could. And then Kemp, 26 points, pretty solid from him, but still dropped off a lot in production since. Camilleri, 18 points in 38 games, so it looks like our depth scoring isn't as good as it was last year. But it could be also because we've been slammed with injuries multiple times this year. Pispinen has 17 points in his first season so far, so pretty good start from Pasi Pispinen. Or we could call him Double P, or PP, I don't know what you want to call him. But there's Pispinen. Ivanov, 16 points is pretty good. But some of these guys have really bad plus-minus. Henriques has had 3 points in 7 games, which is pretty good. As a depth guy, Bork, 24 points, and Wolski, 15 points. So yeah, our plus-minus below our top line is not that great. Like, we look at the plus-minus, you could easily see who's on the top line because of the plus-minus. And then after that, it's not that great. Like, it's not the worst defensive plus minus I've seen from all these guys, but still, it just shows that our top line is way better than anything else on the rest of our team. Like, if we didn't have our top line together, our team probably wouldn't be that good. And then defensively, so far, Brody's leading the way of 14 points, and he's a +8, which is pretty impressive. Ferguson, 13 points and a +15. Martinez, 9 points and a +16. So Martinez and Ferguson, these guys are really great defensively. I love these dudes. Like, Ferguson's already a +74 in his career, which is pretty damn impressive. And Martinez in his career is already a +116. And yeah, Martinez is only 25, so that's pretty impressive. Condretti of 9 points and a -1. Connolly 6 points and a +7. Wall is got 3 points in 25 games. So he's already missed 16 games due to injury this year. That's a lot. And then Gugnot's played 17 games with 2 assists so far. Goalie-wise, Carey Price has been actually pretty solid. This might be one of Carey Price's best seasons so far. I don't think I've seen him have like a below 3 goals against, so that's nice. And then Brian Elliott has not been that good as a backup so far, but our team has been pretty solid for the most part. Let's take a look at the entire league standings and all that stuff just to see what we're doing wrong so far. So we are currently the 7th best team in the NHL. Calgary's currently number 1, San Jose's number 3, which is interesting. But they do have the 2nd best winning percentage, so San Jose could easily win another President's Trophy or something like that. In terms of goals for per game so far, we are the 8th best offensive team, so offensively we're great. Goals against wise, we are actually not that bad either. Okay. We're actually not a bad defensive team. We are like 10th in the league, so we're actually pretty good in both those areas. Power play percentage definitely needs to improve though, 13.2%, so that might be why our production is down in terms of stats for like guys like Camilleri and whatnot, is because our power play hasn't got going like it was last year, because last year I think we had a top 10 power play, or a top 5 maybe even. And then our penalty kill though is one of the best in the NHL, which last year was one of the worst, I'm pretty sure. So basically our special teams flip-flopped from last year. Maybe I could look at addressing those before the end of this episode, just because I want to take a look at what we could change up with our team. So let me take a look at those special teams. So what I could do, okay. What did we have last year? I don't even remember what we had last year. Oh yeah, maybe it's because we don't have a defenseman on this one. Let's move Bork back. Actually, put Bork on the point. Why is Henricius in the lineup though? I thought I scratched him. Oh no, it's because Camilleri was injured, that's right. Okay, I see why. So we'll do something like that. We'll actually we'll take Kuznetsov off the power play maybe. No, I'm going to take Wolski off the power play and put in a defenseman. I just don't know who. Because we don't have any offensive defensemen. We only have 2 ways. I think I'll give a chance to Ferguson on the power play. Why not? Try and change that up a tiny little bit, and then we'll move Bork down here as well. And then, yeah, Henricius will get replaced with Camilleri. And that should be good to go for next episode. So, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Atlanta Thrashers franchise mode. So, in next episode, we will have the rest of the season simulation. We might make trades, we might not, because we're off to a pretty good start. And, yeah, hopefully we could have a good playoff run this year. So, let me know what you guys think down below. And I'll see you guys next time.